everybody, and welcome to my weekly live. Melissa K. Range, Igniting Change. So grateful to be here with you all. And I'm going to pose a question to you right now, just to start things off, because I want you to be thinking about this as I do my live today, which I do every Wednesday at 12:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So you can count on this time because I was so busy immersed in workshop material and in seeing animals that were just amazing. And I think I talked a little bit about that last week. And so if you're interested in learning about my Africa journey, just go back and watch last week's live, which is on my channel. So I'm going to ask you, what is one small thing? And I want you to be thinking about this as I speak today. What is one small thing you are afraid to do, but deep down, you know it would set you free? So when I did this, and of course, we're talking today about how I cut my hair. It's a very crazy, discombobulated mother. This was many years ago. As you can see now, I have the streaks of gray in my hair, and I didn't want to do that actually. So that's a different story I can tell you in a little bit. But when I decided to cut my hair, because I was such a hairy, discombobulated, crazy mom, I had been thinking about it for a while. And I know this is what happens for a lot of us when we want to step into something new or make a change or do something different or let go of something. We start thinking about it sometimes days, weeks, months, years in advance. Why? Because we are creators. And we do our natural state, the natural and nature part of ourselves knows there's always going to be change. But we as human beings, we become resistant to change. We don't want to change because it might mean things look different, which, yes, that's probably going to be what happens. And so, thank you so much. I did not know I had comments on here, so we'll see what kind of comments I received today, but thank you so much. That's a lovely comment. I'm saying hello. I don't know if I turn the comments off, but today we'll see what kind of comments we get. But when I decided to cut my hair, I had wanted to cut my hair for a long time. The reason was because I was in a crazy marriage. I like to say I was the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. I was doing everything. I was a human doing. Can you relate? I was a human doing. And most of us in our lives are a human doing. We don't stop. We don't slow down. And at this time, I was with a man, my husband, who was addicted to some stuff. He was not helping me around the house. And I was not only taking care of my 3 small children, but I was also working part-time, and I was also maintaining a house. And when I say maintaining a house, you all, I was cleaning the house. I was doing the yard work. I was still going to activities with my children. We were having play dates. I mean, just imagine a busy mother and all of the things that we women are taking care of when we have a family and a spouse and we have in-laws and that family, and we have our parents and our siblings and their children and the birthday parties and all the birthday parties that my children were being invited to. So just imagine the craziness. And I was very active in my religious community, which I'm not a part of anymore, but I was active in that. And so imagine this. I would wake up on a Sunday morning and have to get myself and everybody fed and ready to go to church. And one day I realized, oh my gosh, it takes me a long time to get myself ready because I have to shower, I have to do my hair, and my hair was long. And actually what's funny is today I got my hair cut. So this was perfect timing, of course, for my video today about being a harried, crazy mother who needed to make a change. And I had wanted to do this for a long time. I had wanted to cut my hair for years, but I was worried about how it would make me look and what people would think. And maybe it's not feminine, or maybe people will say, like my former husband did after I got my hair cut, don't you think people are going to think you're a boy? And that never even really crossed my mind. But I had been beaten down for a while by my former husband. I had been condescended to and belittled, and I had been beaten down a lot. And so that was really hard for me because I was nervous and afraid. But something really, thank you for the hearts, something really clicked within me on this one day that I was getting ready to go to church with my children, because my former husband, he never went to church with us unless it was a holiday. And so I was sitting there drying my hair thinking, this is a lot of work. I don't really want to do this anymore. And I'm sick and tired of having to take so much time to get myself beautiful and ready to go out and look presentable, yada, 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 because I had to make my children look presentable. Because you know what? When you're in a situation as a codependent, you need to make sure that everything for outward appearances looks really, really stable and good, and that everything is okay. Have you ever been in that situation where you're thinking to yourself, if I can make everybody think I'm okay, then I'll be okay. If everybody can't see my pain and sorrow and what I'm dealing with, then all will be well. And I wanted to make sure that I was presenting that image, because I didn't want people to know that I was struggling, that I was suffering, that I was really unhappy where I was in my life. And I didn't like myself. I didn't like my spouse. And I was just part of the rat race of life as a mom, and in my part-time gig and all these other places. I just didn't really feel happy and joyful and in my authentic self. And I had really strayed from this person into somebody that was very isolated, and somebody who was crying a lot because I didn't know how to deal with stuff. And then a person who also was very numb. I was very numb to a lot of things in my life because I didn't want to show weakness, and I didn't want people to think that I had feelings. And I didn't want to get mad because, that would get me into a place where I didn't want to be either. So all of those going on, but a lot of stuffing emotions. Has anybody ever been like that? A lot of stuffing of emotions. And maybe this haircut was like a rebellion. But I finally decided that I was going to chop my hair, chop it off. I was tired of doing my hair. I was tired of taking the time. I was tired of wanting, to look a certain way, to present as a certain person or have a certain image. And so I called up my hairstylist and I said, I need a haircut. And she said, okay. And when I got there, I told her, I want you to cut my hair off and I want it to be super short. And she's like, are you sure? Because I had never done this before. I had never done something this like this before. And so yeah. So that was, let's see, I'm going to do something really quick. And just really remove some of this stuff because I just, let's see here. So yeah, so I told my hairdresser I wanted to get my hair cut really short, and she was like, okay, let's do this. And so I cut my hair off, and it was crazy. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe I actually did it. But you know what? It felt so freeing, and my head felt lighter. And I walked out of there and I was so proud of myself. So proud of myself because I took a risk, I took a chance, and I did something for me. And I hadn't done this in a while. So once again, I'm going to ask you, what is one small thing that you are afraid to do, but deep down you know it would set you free? And this is what I did. I cut my hair off and I was so excited. I remember thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be so easy. This is going to take so much less time. I will be able to just get out of the shower and basically dry my hair in 2 seconds. And those are the kind of things that I was thinking about. And it was the reason behind why I did it. It wasn't because, it was actually in that moment. It was kind of like a practical thing, but also something that really was like, this is for me. This is for me. I'm doing this for me. And for the fact that I wanted to take less time. So it was kind of a double edged sword here. It was for me, but it was also so that I could make things quicker so that I could do more for other people in a sense. So, because why I was not in the space of knowing what self care really looked like. And maybe some of you feel like that too. You don't really know what self care is. And I mentor a lot of people. And a lot of times the women, especially, will say to me, what does it look like to self care? What does that mean? What does it look like? Could you please give me some examples? And so, some examples that I will give people about self care is you're going to get a massage, you're going to get your nails done, you're taking a walk in nature without your cell phone. It's called forest bathing. They're calling that forest bathing now. I just call it walking in nature alone with no music, no cell phone, no talking on the phone. You could sit down and read a book on an afternoon. You could sit in the sun. I love to sit outside in the sunshine and get my vitamin D and read a book, even if it's just 20 minutes a day. There are so many ways that we can self care. You could go to a museum by yourself and look at artwork. You could go pick up a hobby like pickleball. That's something that I picked up to self care, to meet people, to just do something different, take care of your body. But these are all ways, instead of always taking care of everybody else, you're making yourself a priority. And that's actually one of the main steps that I talk about in my keynote. Make yourself a priority. So, and I call it reclaiming your power. So when I went to go get my hair cut, I reclaimed my power, you all. That was one of the first things. And actually, there's another thing. I started meditating, but going to cut my hair was a real big risk for me. And it was also a real big step into my power. So, oh, thank you so much. I hope it grows too. Remember to like and subscribe and share my channel. I would love that because I am really out here trying to help and empower women to really take care of themselves, find their power, and remember their intuition, and then take action on what you want in your life. That's really what my channel is about. And so that is very sweet. Thank you for the compliment. And so once I got my haircut, I went home. And when my ex-husband now, but my husband saw me, he literally looked at me in the face and he was like, he didn't say, oh, you look great, or oh, nice haircut. No, he said, don't you think people are going to think you're a boy now? That's what he said to me. Don't you think that people are going to think you're a boy? And I said, I didn't know how to take that comment because it made me very angry. It made me very sad. But it also made me think, wow, this person is really far gone as a person who's supposed to love and be in a space of support in a relationship. It was a real big reminder to me that things are awry in the situation with my husband. Things are awry, and these are signs and things that we don't pick up on a lot of time because we're in denial about what needs to change. So I'm going to ask you that question. Where in your life are you in denial about things that need to shift or be removed or change in your life? And I went to a great talk this morning. I went to my local chamber of commerce because I wanted to get to know something about. And this woman was talking about how people are so resistant to change. And this is true. I think this is in our nature that we don't want to make changes. And the number one reason is because we don't know what the result will be when we make that change. We don't know what it's going to look like on the other side of that change. But my suggestion for you would be do it anyway. Embrace it. Step into it, because that's where you're going to grow and transform and become a new, greater, more powerful, intuitive version of yourself. So I'm a very, very big proponent about stepping into those fear-based places. And my haircut was something that I was nervous to do. But then I told myself, well, hair grows back. Hair is something, I mean, I have very thick hair. So, and maybe if you're somebody that doesn't, hello, Alex. Maybe if you're somebody that doesn't, you worry about, will my hair grow back, or what will it look like when it grows back? But I knew my hair was going to grow back. And I knew that all would be well if I did this, because it was a choice I made for me. And again, this was a big step for me. And I know a lot of times people say, well, I could never do such and such, like you, Melissa. All right. But once they do it, they're so proud of themselves. And here's another tip I'm going to give you. When you do something like, well, cut your hair, let's say, because you want a new style, you want to be different, you have to celebrate yourself. You have to celebrate your win and what you accomplish, because every time you do you know that teaches your subconscious a message? And it says, I can do hard things. I can do scary things. I'm capable. These things are possible for me. That's what you do when you step into the fear, or you step into that change you need to make. You've got to celebrate yourself. You have to celebrate your wins, no matter how small they are. Give yourself a pat on the back. Make a gratitude list. Tell a friend that you trust, wow, I did this. A trusted confidant, or somebody that's going to cheerlead for you, not somebody that's going to cut you down and say like, well, why'd you do that? No, you need cheerleaders in your life. I am a life person. I'm a person cheerleader. So when people do scary things, my clients, I always hurrah them, if that's a word, because I'm so excited that they actually did what they wanted. They did what they wanted to do. I didn't tell them to do it. They knew what they wanted to go after it. So after my husband made that comment to me, I was sad. I was angry. And then I was just like, well, I don't really care what you say anymore. I don't really care, because nothing that really supportive or loving or kind. And I had been with him by this time for about 10 years in our marriage. I'd been with him. And even before that, I was with him. And so I kind of had started to see the writing on the wall. And I just stopped telling him things, and I stopped communicating with him in a way that was deeper or emotional. And, I ended up leaving him within a year after that. So again, this was the writing on the wall, you all. And I'm going to encourage you to look at who you surround yourself with. Because if you want to accomplish big things in life, if you want to change and go after your dreams and desires, you're going to have to let go sometimes of people that don't support you, who don't lift you up, who don't encourage you. Because those people have their own insecurities, and they are not in a healthy space, and they can't be a cheerleader for you. And we all have dreams and desires, goals, and things that we want to accomplish in our lives. It is our natural being to want to create different things in our lives and bring to fruition, a specific career, or a specific relationship, or a specific place of living, or a specific health and wellness regime or body, things like that. And if you have people that are constantly telling you that you can't, or it's impossible, or it's never going to work, then those people are going to keep you in that container of zero growth. And I am a big supporter of people that want to expand themselves, not resist, not keep themselves small, not use their authentic voice. And so I am a cheerleader for those people. So after I got this haircut, and after it settled in and I was used to it, oh my gosh, I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the less time I had to spend on maintaining my hair, because as I said before, I was an extremely busy mother. I was extremely involved in a lot of things. I was driving all over and I just didn't want to take the time. And my hair was so cute. While it was, what is this? I don't even know what this is. While it was short. So then what ended up happening was my sister saw my hair and she thought to herself, Melissa, I love your hair. I think I'm going to do the same thing. And I really didn't think she would do it, but she went out and she cut her hair as well. So I want you to think for a moment about a time in your life when you did something that was maybe a little extreme, or maybe walking through some fear, or maybe challenging yourself in some way, shape, or form, and you inspired people to do something like you did, or you inspired them to do something else that was a change, that was a big sort of fear-based or change that they needed to make in their lives. Think about that and then celebrate, because I bet you all of you have influenced other people to make changes in their lives by something that you modeled or you exampled in your life. And I've done that hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. I know, because people tell me, they tell me on social media, I tried what you said to do, or they've told me in person, or the people I've mentored have told me this. And so I know that every time I take a risk, it encourages other people to take a risk. And so I'm going to keep on doing it, because that's what I do in life. And that's my purpose. So I'm going to ask you one more time as I kind of wrap this up. What is one small thing that you are afraid to do, but deep down, it would set you free? Because cutting my hair really helped me to move forward. It really helped me to see that I have a choice. And before this, a lot of times I felt like I didn't have any choice in my life. I didn't have choices. And I really thought that it was the either this or this. I was a very black and white person. So it was like, I have A or B. Which one am I going to choose? But now I know I have an entire plethora of choices. There's always a choice. And if the first choice doesn't work, there'll be a backup choice, or there'll be another choice, or another avenue that I can take. I don't just always have one choice. There are more solutions to a problem than you think there are, because that is something I had to learn over time. And now when something goes awry, I can say, oh my gosh, what are my choices? And maybe I haven't even thought about all the choices that I have. And so that's my question that I'm going to leave you with today to ponder, to think about. And so right now I'm going to share, I created this women's program. It's called Find Your Fire. And this is an online, self-paced, 5-module program. If you're interested in learning how to pick a desire and go after it, then this is the program for you. Because I created this based on my personal experience, and I based it upon all of the things that I have done and accomplished over the last 16 years, and the changes that I made, and I incorporated all of this. And it's online. You can do it in your own personal home at your own leisure, and everything is on my website at www.reclaimrebuildrestore.com. So it is a program specifically geared to women 40 plus. I've walked many women through this program, and what was surprising for them, and one specifically, her name's Tammy, she said to me, well, I had a specific thing in mind that I wanted to accomplish through this program, Melissa. And she goes, it turned out that that's really not what I wanted. And it was something completely different. And I got it. And I'm so grateful, because when she signed up to do the program, she was kind of like, oh, I'm just doing it, because I'm helping out Melissa, or I wanted to see what it was about. And this was in my pilot of the program. But she said it really made a massive impact on me. And so go to reclaimrebuildrestore.com to check out my program. I've got a video on there. I've got you can look at what's in the material in the course. And it's a do it yourself at your own pace. It's 5 modules. And I think what you're going to come out with a result, and I would love to know what your result is. I would love to know that. But it's a really awesome thing. And a lot of programs are online right now. A lot of people take online programs because you can do it in the convenience when you have time and in your own home and at your own pace. And so that's why I created it, because I could have used a program like this many years ago when I was in a struggle in my marriage and in my life. And it would have been really great for me to do this program. But now I created it for other women who are like me, who have struggled and want to make changes in their lives. And so that's that. I thank you for being here today. I'm grateful that you showed up. Every Wednesday at 12:30 Central Standard Time, I come on to do my live to share some story of my own personal experience of how I went from frozen in fear to fired up with confidence. It's been many years of building myself, remembering who I am to get back to this confident person. But I'm so grateful that you were here today. If you have any questions about my program and you want to learn more about it that you don't see on my website, you're welcome to send me an email at melissa@reclaimrebuildrestore.com. So thanks so much for being here. Thanks for liking the channel. Thank you for subscribing. And if something in here resonated for you, share this video with somebody else, because I know there are people out there in fear every day. And this is how I start my keynote. There are so many of us at some place or time that are in fear about something, and we want to bring something to fruition or create something or leave something, let something go. And we need somebody to be a cheerleader for us, or to remind us how to do it, or to remind us of what's possible. And so that's what I do. I help to help you remember your true divine nature, who you really are, this wonderful, amazing, capable, unlimited being. And that's why I do this. So thanks again for joining me. I will look forward to seeing you here, and look at my other videos. I've got lots of little snippets on my channel about empowerment, about restoring grace to your life, about how to feel your worth and your value. So I just keep putting it out there, you all, and hopefully you all are seeing it and it's helping you and pushing you forward in life. And that's it for now. So Melissa Range signing off. See you next week. See you soon.